thanks for joining in. Today, I'm going to be explaining how to repair an IW60 on-demand hot water heater by Suburban. The reason I'm doing this video is because I was having a shower and lo and behold, hot water went cold. And you can imagine how uncomfortable that was. So I decided to do a video on how to repair it. Well, at least how to, what would you say, bypass the problem temporarily while I attempt to get a part, which I found is near impossible right now because of COVID-19. Even the distributor for Canada doesn't carry this part, and they don't have it in stock. And none of the RV centers that I've called have it in stock either. So I had to figure out another way around it. And luckily, I landed some information on how to do this. And it's a simple process, but it's a little time consuming. And what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to bypass the airflow sensing switch that is supposedly not working. Now, the reason I know this is because on the screen for this IW60, it flashes a code when there's a problem, and it flashed the code E6. So E6 is the airflow sensing switch, and it's saying that there's either no airflow, which I know there is because I tested for that, or the switch is not working. So I narrowed it down. So let's get into this. I'm going to pull off a few panels, show you where the switch is, show you how to put the jumper cables on, and we'll see if we can get this IW60 hot water heater back up and running so I can rinse the soap out of my eyes. Alright, we don't have a whole lot of room to work in here, but I gotta take this cover off. I think this is the side I've got to remove. It might be the other side, but let's take this side off here and see if we can find the switch. Alright, so we're in. This is the IW60. This is the inside. And before I begin talking about this little switch here, which is the vacuum pressure switch, let's just discuss how this functions first, okay? The cold water goes through into the burner. The computer recognizes the flow of water, turns on this fan. This fan then has a venturi inside that produces a vacuum. This tube sucks this little switch and turns it on. So here I've got the two wires disconnected from the vacuum switch, and I'm going to connect these two manually. That will bypass the switch but mimic the switch. And if this works, then we know that the furnace works. And we have an issue with the vacuum switch or the vacuum. I'm going to start by checking the vacuum switch and seeing if the switch inside works. So I'm going to do that by pulling off this little tube here, and I'm going to blow into it and suck into it and see if I can hear the switch moving. Yep, the switch is moving, so more than likely the switch is working. I'm going to put that little tube back on. This is the little window to view the flame inside. So we should be able to see a flame in here when these two come together after I turn the water on. If the furnace comes on, then it means this part of the mechanism is working, and we have to figure out why then the vacuum is not turning the switch on. So there you go. The furnace comes on, and it thinks that there's a vacuum in that tube, and the switch was activated. If I let go of these two wires, the furnace should shut off, which it does. Okay, so everything's working as it should. We just have to figure out why we don't have a vacuum. And I think I've discovered why. Earlier I looked through the exhaust port here, and I saw that a spider had made a web inside the vacuum venturi tube, blocking the vacuum from sucking this switch through this hose. So I'm gonna go outside, clean out that spider web, and then we're gonna reconnect this to the switch and see if this comes on. So I'm gonna take this little vent off here. It's nighttime, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. This is the tricky part. This butyl seal here is holding this down. So it's gonna work this to get it off. Well, at least we know this butyl seal is doing its job, eh? Okay, just as I thought. Okay, if you look in, you see that little tube in the center of the tube? It looks like there is a cobweb stuck in that, and that's the venturi that the air travels through to create a vacuum that then draws that little switch open to connect those two wires together. And it looks like a bug has created a little nest in there. So let's see if we can pull that stuff out and try it again. I used a stick that I found on the ground and shoved it into that little hole and pulled out the cobweb. Now I took the tube off the switch, and I'm going to blow the other way through this tube and just make sure it's clear. Yep, it's clear. I'm gonna connect this back on, okay? And then we'll put it to the test and see if I solved the problem. Okay, let's turn the water on and see if we've resolved the problem. I'm gonna watch for the flame down here. See that? It kicked in. It works. So we solved the problem. We didn't have to replace the switch, the pressure airflow switch. We discovered that there was a little nest growing inside that little venturi, and all we needed was a free part here to fix it. This tool, I used a stick that I found on the ground and shoved it into that little hole and pulled out the cobweb. Isn't that awesome? That's great. Okay, so we did it. Now you know how to do this yourself if you run into this problem. The issue I had was that there was no YouTube videos online on how to do this. Absolutely none. And I thought this would be a great way of putting the first one up and showing people what they can do if they run into a problem with the IW60 Suburban on-demand hot water heater. These things are probably about $1,600–1,700 up to $2,000 each, depending on where you buy them. And I just purchased this one, and I ran into this issue. And I guess what happened is that over the last couple of weeks, a little bug decided to climb in there and foil my plans of having a nice hot shower. But we did it. Okay, let's get this all back together again and call it a day. All right, time for a shower and test out the IW60 hot water on demand. Woo! Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Now I can rinse the soap out of my eyes. Whoa, that's all right, mama. That's all right for you. That's all right, mama. Don't just any way you do, we're gonna do all right. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right now, mama. Any way you do. Yeah, I got my hot water. Oh, it feels so good. I can rinse the soap right out of my eyes. Oh yeah. Woo! Oh yeah. Oh baby, thank God for my IW60 hot water tank. Oh yeah. No more cold showers for me, baby.